Married people of Reddit, what do you miss about being single? Things being where I left them. Yep, can also be an issue with roommates in general. I left it right here, middle of the floor. Not having to consider anyone else when making a decision. Someone once said being married is just asking another person what they want to eat for dinner until one of you dies. I'm responsible for kids and husband's food, and honestly sometimes I just want to worry about myself. Just being alone and being able to do whatever I want. Indeed, but after a day I realize I'd rather be married to my wife. Being honest, the novelty wears out very quickly. Shortly before my wife had our second baby, I came down with the flu, so they all packed up and headed to my in-laws. I thought it'd be a blast getting to be alone for a couple of days, but it got boring after a few hours. I can't fathom being alone, all day, every day, and this is coming from a person who needs a lot of alone time to survive. My own bed. My husband and I use our own blankets. This was a game changer. This was key for us also. She can have her pillow palace with a paper-thin blanket and the thermostat set to absolute zero with the ceiling fan running in the winter, and I can have my 3-quilt death prevention shield. Earplugs were a great help for me also. She can snore all she wants and it has no effect. Not having to justify myself to another adult if I'm getting takeout 2 days in a row, or hanging out in bed until 2 in the afternoon on a Saturday without anyone hassling you. Worrying about that kind of thing would almost make me feel like I was living with my parents again. Although at least you married people get Shreks. Wait, you guys are having Shreks? The things I miss? Cleaning the way I want. I have a thing about liking to clean when no one else is around. Just because how I do it takes time and has a weird system to it. This is the only thing that resonates with me here. I am most productive when I am completely alone. I hate being observed while I clear, or do anything. I don't want any comments. I don't want to hear that I missed a spot. I don't want to hear their method of cleaning. I don't want to hear anything. I want to put in earphones and enjoy my cleaning. Precisely, let me enjoy my method and my madness smiley face. Not being beaten in my sleep by my wife. I bought a king-size bed so you could fight your dream ninjas on your side of the bed. Stay away from me, please. It's the snoring that keeps me awake or wakes me up. I have confirmed through my in-laws that she never snored before she met me. My mill noticed the loud snoring, and then when I exited the room, she remarked, "I thought it was you." That's my daughter? It's so loud. My 130-pound wife snores with the aggression of a rail dragster. We sleep in different rooms. Tidiness. My wife is super messy. I'm not expecting her to change, but I do miss it. Same. Or put another way, I miss not constantly tidying up after wife and child, in that order. I used to tidy and it would be tidy. Now I tidy, then I tidy. This is my life now. Not having to share my leftovers. When I was single I could treat myself to Chinese food and the leftovers were mine. Now I have to be considerate and share. It's terrible. We don't share leftovers unless we discuss it. If it's the meal one person ordered, then it's assumed to be their leftovers too. I had to explain this to my husband. But yeah, in general I miss knowing that food I bought would be there for me when I want it. Sleeping in the middle of the bed like a starfish. Also eating in bed and having 5 pillows to myself. Oh, my husband will occasionally ask if he should sleep in the other room so I can starfish. It's really very sweet of him. Lol, I love how starfish is being used as a verb. Quietness. Except for TV, music, of video games, it was so quiet in my house. Now a wife and 3 little girls, it's a madhouse. Sometimes when it's just me and the dog I look over and apologize to him. There are times, when I babysit my 2 and 5-year-old nieces, that I seriously think I would not survive if I had to do this all the time. The whining, the arguing, the incessant questions, the mess. Even when they play together and leave you alone, there's constant shrieking. I could never. My brother-in-law, his wife, and their 2 boys came through and spent one night with us in our 1000 SQFT condo. I have never in my life been more grateful for the universe deciding kids was not in my life plan after all. Love them. Love seeing them. Was so happy when they left so we could just sit here in silence. I could go without all the rank-ass farts. my husband's farts sound like there's a man playing the trombone trapped inside of him. I hate them. They're so freaking loud. But at least they don't really smell, so I guess I have to count my blessings. Sad trombone or angry trombone? Taking off and doing whatever DF I want. My hubby needs a plan when he leaves the house. Sometimes, I just want to go for a drive, explore, see where I wind up. So, we have a deal that I can just tell him I'm going for an adventure and send periodic updates. It's not the same as just taking off, but close. I do the same. I need to take a break every now and then from people, so my girlfriend letting me just take off for a couple days into the bush is awesome. I have a Garmin so I can send her updates in the middle of nowhere. I can be packed and gone in under an hour. That I had so much more disposable income when I was single. Opposite for me. Splitting the bills in half really helped. That dink life is definitely a perk that doesn't get talked about enough. Being alone and not feeling guilty about it. This one 1,000 times. I have a wife and daughter, so when I do get a chance to be alone for a couple hours, it's amazing as hell. But I feel bad that I want to be alone. I love them both to death and would do anything for them. But man, I miss my alone time. There's nothing to feel guilty about. It's okay to be a little selfish and enjoy that alone time. It's not like you love them any less for it. Only having to clean my mess. Otherwise my life is better in almost every way. The excitement of first dating someone you like. Yes, I remember my friend saying this when she got engaged. She'll never have a first kiss again. I didn't get it as I was still single, but now 15 years down the line, yeah, those butterflies, excitement when you foam things, the lust, etc. I missed that, but I missed it as someone in their 20s. Don't think now in my 40s I'd be happy to be back dating again. Now there's something I miss. My 20s. Controlling the remote at all times. Watching anything without constant streaming commentary. Watching anything without constant streaming commentary. Dear God. Sleeping in on the weekends. My girlfriend sleeps over on weekends at my place. I'm a morning person and she has the ability to sleep past 9 a.m. I let her sleep in while I stare at my phone and drink coffee or play video games. Friends. Don't get me wrong, my wife has done nothing to isolate me. But when you marry your soulmate and best friend, it's easy to think that's all you'll ever need. Add a long hours job to the mix, and before you know it, she's the only person you interact with away from your desk. Then kids come along, and you'd sacrifice anything for your family, especially free time. But the kids grow up, and your wife craves time away from you and the kids. Then one day you realize, you're alone. And I think that's compounded when all your friends are doing the same thing. Women do it too, but in many cases women are more sociable. You've worded it perfectly. There is a big effort in keeping up friendships as kids come into your life, plus work, etc. I've found now my social life is a school gate, birthday parties and playdates. I think we need to embrace that rather than mourn the proper fun social life we used to have. My dad, 87, still has a regular lunch with the men he worked with. Mom is in a book club. Wondering why I loaded the dishwasher how I did. To be honest, sometimes I look at the dishwasher I loaded myself and I'm like, what dumbass did this? Oh yeah, it was past me. Right, not even just the dishwasher, but just throughout my day. There's always that sad moment when you realize you've got nobody to blame, but yourself, lol. Not having to explain why I did some mundane thing. Wife, why did you set the toothpaste on the right side of the vanity, instead of the left? Me? Oh, I just realized how amazing this sounds. I forgot how it feels to just do a thing without being questioned about it. There was a tweet from a year or two ago that went viral. It said something like, my wife and I like to play a game called Why Are You Doing It That Way? And nobody wins. My wife and I both got a huge kick out of it, and now sometimes when she asks me why I did something like load the dishwasher a certain way, I ask her, are we playing the game? She gets the joke and is a good sport about it. It's helped diffuse some situations that would otherwise have the potential to make me really mad. Being able to immediately yes to doing literally anything without having to coordinate plans, clear it with someone else. Is that more of a parenting thing? My so and I pretty much have automatic invitations to whatever the other is doing, unless it's a girls guys friend thing or we've expressed that we want alone time. Both of our stance has always been that we both do whatever we want. If one of us wants to go and the other doesn't feel up to it, then it's love you see you when you get home. If that's the next day, because they had some beers with friends and crashed at one of their houses, then that's no problem too. Text me at midnight and let me know you want me back so I don't worry. It's never a do you mind if I go type of thing unless we already had plans. But I can see that being 1000% different once kids are in the picture. Not having every damn decision, big or small, be a conversation and compromise. I used to make all these same decisions by myself and I'm still alive. Feeling like a itch if I disagree or an a-hole if I'm indifferent. Not sleeping next to someone who snores. My so works nights a few times a week so I get some snore-free nights, unless I have the dog. I'm already a bad sleeper and it takes me hours to settle, so the snoring can be rage-inducing, especially when it's a man the dog snoring one constant snore stream. I can hear my mom when she's on an entirely different floor. It's horrible, but after many years of it my dad can't sleep without her snores. Eating alone, sleeping alone, going out alone, coming home from work alone, paying the bills alone, watching TV alone, driving alone, going for walks alone, washing the dishes alone, having the house to yourself all the time alone, spending all weekend alone, talking to yourself alone. Did I mention being alone? I do 10/13 of those and I've been living with someone for almost 15 years. We both do our own thing. You know you can still do things alone when you're married, right? You're not attached at the hip.